Questions for reflection. Our first reading is a vision of the future when the Lord has prepared a great feast on earth. He's destroyed the veil which has separated us from sight of Him, and He's destroyed death itself. How blessed are we, called to His eternal banquet feast. In preparation for this day, and in actual participation in it, we are called to a Thanksgiving feast called the Eucharist. In fact, that's what Eucharist means. It's a thanksgiving. And it too is a joyful occasion, for through this sacrament, we enter into communion with the Lord. And through grace, we see Him ever more clearly. Our responsorial psalm today is the beloved 23rd Psalm. It's a psalm of thanksgiving for those of us received into Yahweh's favor. Let us give thanks for all the Lord provides. Let us make our home in the Lord and allow Him to make His home within us. This is what the Christian life is all about: communion with the Lord. Our gospel reading is the account in St. Matthew where Jesus feeds 4,000. Though very much like the feeding of the 5,000, there are several differences. The disciples had already seen Jesus feed 5,000. Matthew records the event in the 14th chapter of his gospel. All four gospels mention it. But sadly, the disciples still have not learned its deeper significance. They had not changed. They're still seeing the hungry crowd as a nuisance, rather than viewing them as Jesus did, with compassion. In His sacred humanity, Jesus was moved with compassion for the crowd, and the Greek root of the word for compassion means to suffer with. The disciples viewed the matter as a problem. They approached it through a lens of economic scarcity. Jesus understood the economy of heaven. The question He asks of all of us today is, do we? Jesus asked the disciples a simple question: what do you have? Or how many loaves do you have? They still did not understand. They'd already witnessed 5,000 fed. They'd been invited to participate in God's work by simply giving what they had in a holy exchange, but they still didn't get it. When they finally did, Jesus used the matter given by men, loaves and fish, to manifest the manna of heaven. He still does. This wonderful miracle of multiplication should remind us that all we have, even our most meager talents and possessions, belong to the Lord, and they are to be used for His purpose. And second, when we give what we have in service to the Lord, He can multiply our gifts so they can serve many. So as you seek your vocation, or seek to live the vocation you've been given, remember what talents and gifts you have, even if they seem small, are to be placed in the holy hands of the Master. For when placed in the Lord's service, the few can become many, the small becomes great, and the weak mighty.